Welcome to the most powerful story you'll hear this week, maybe even this year. This isn't just a business story. This is a human story. A story about a poor, hard-working boy from a small town who didn't have the money, didn't have the connections, just a dream, a pickup truck, and a heart that refused to give up. This is the real story of a man who walked into towns no one cared about and built an empire bigger than the kings of Wall Street. He didn't wear fancy suits. He didn't talk like a billionaire. He drove his own truck, visited every store, and talked to customers like friends. This man became the richest person in America, not by cheating, not by luck, but by understanding one truth. If you help people save money, you help them live better. This video will change how you think about success. It will show you how one man built Walmart, the biggest retail empire the world has ever seen. With more than 10,000 stores, over 2 million employees, and hundreds of millions of customers every single week. But more importantly, this video will help you improve your English too. You'll learn real vocabulary, real storytelling, real motivation. All in simple, clear, powerful English. This is not just a history lesson. It's your listening practice, your English fluency training, and your life motivation. All in one. So grab a notebook, pay full attention, because you're about to watch one of the most emotional, powerful, and unforgettable success stories ever told. This is not just the story of Walmart. This is the story of Sam Walton, the man who changed the world with a smile, a plan, and a pickup truck. Let's begin. Part 1. The small-town boy who didn't know he'd build an empire. Before there was Walmart, before there were billions of dollars, before the world knew his name, there was just a boy named Samuel Moore Walton, born on March 29, 1918, in Kingfisher, Oklahoma. A place so small most maps didn't even highlight it. His parents weren't rich. In fact, his family struggled during the Great Depression, when millions of Americans lost their jobs, homes, and savings. His father, Thomas Walton, was a farm loan appraiser, a job that made them move constantly. And his mother, Nancy Lee, was a warm, strong woman who believed deeply in education and hard work. Sam had one younger brother, James Bud Walton, and together, the two boys grew up in a world where nothing was guaranteed. They didn't have luxuries, but what they did have was character, built by doing chores, selling milk from the family cow, and waking up before sunrise to help out. As a child, Sam hated wasting time. He worked paper routes before school. He milked cows before sunrise. He joined the Boy Scouts and became the youngest Eagle Scout in his state. From the beginning, he wanted to do more than survive. He wanted to win. Not for glory, but for purpose. Sam Walton wasn't a genius. He wasn't born with money or power, but he had two gifts. 1, a deep hunger to learn. 2, and a deep love for people. In high school, he played football, basketball, and baseball, not because he was the best, but because he never gave up. He was the kind of person who would stay late, practice longer, and give 110% every single time. Even if he failed, he tried again. After high school, he couldn't afford a fancy college, but he was determined. He took a loan and went to the University of Missouri studying economics. He worked odd jobs to pay his fees, waiting tables, cleaning, managing his time with military-style discipline. At 22 years old, he graduated. But the world was at war. World War II had begun, and like many young men, Sam joined the Army Intelligence Corps, where he served with honor. It was during this time, not in a business school, not in an office, but during war, that Sam learned his most powerful lesson. Details matter. People matter. You must think like a soldier, but serve like a human being. After the war ended, Sam married Helen Robson, a smart, confident, no-nonsense woman from a well-off family in Oklahoma. Helen wasn't just a housewife. She was the backbone of Sam's journey. She challenged him. She supported him. And she made one thing clear. We will not waste our lives. We will build something big. Or die trying. With $5,000 from his savings and a $20,000 loan from his father-in-law, Sam bought a small Ben Franklin variety store in Newport, Arkansas. He was just 26 years old. No business experience, no big investors. Just a dream. To serve customers better than anyone else ever had. He worked every single day, from opening to closing, checking every price tag, talking to every customer, cleaning the floors himself, and studying the competition like a detective. Sam didn't just want to sell things. He wanted to understand people. He would drive for hours to visit rival stores and take notes on everything. Layout, pricing, customer behavior. He wasn't afraid to learn from others, even his competitors. While most store owners raised prices to earn more profit, Sam did the opposite. He lowered prices to earn the customer's trust. People thought he was crazy. "Why are you cutting your own profit?" they asked. But Sam knew something they didn't. If you give people a good deal, they come back. And they bring their friends. And that is the beginning of a revolution. Just as things were going great, Sam's store was becoming popular, making more money than anyone in town. But there was a problem. He didn't own the building. He had only signed a 5-year lease. When those 5 years ended, the landlord refused to renew the lease and took the store away from Sam. Why? Because the landlord saw how profitable Sam's ideas were and wanted to give the business to his own son. Sam lost everything: the location, the brand, the customer base. All the hard work. Gone. He could have given up. He could have complained, cried, or quit. But he didn't. He took a deep breath, packed up his life, and moved to a small town called Bentonville, Arkansas. There, with a burning heart and nothing but his brain and wife, he opened a new store. That store would later become the first Walmart. It was 1950. Bentonville wasn't a place for billionaires. It wasn't a big city with big investors. It was a quiet little town with one main street, a few farmers, a few teachers, and a lot of dreams. But for Sam Walton, Bentonville was the blank canvas he needed. He rented a small building and opened a store called Walton's 5 and 10. It wasn't flashy. There was no giant signboard, no grand opening. Just Sam, his wife, and a store full of small products. Socks, school supplies, cleaning items, candy, and toys. But there was one thing that made this store different. Not the location, not the prices, not even the size. It was Sam's obsession with people. From day one, Sam had a system in his mind. He didn't call it a system, but it became the foundation of Walmart's success. Let's break it down. 1. Serve the customer like their family. He didn't just say hello. He would walk customers to the shelf. He would carry their bags. He would ask them what they didn't like and fix it. He believed the customer is not just the reason for our success. The customer is our success. 2. Buy cheap, sell cheaper, make it up in volume. This was radical. Most stores wanted to make big profit on each item. Sam wanted to make small profit on many items. Instead of selling 100 shirts with $5 profit each, he would sell 10,000 shirts with 50 cents profit each. He once said, "If we lower prices by 1 cent and sell 1 million units, that's $10,000 saved by our customers. They will never forget that 3. Never stop learning from others." Sam would visit other stores every weekend. He would take notebooks and write down ideas, designs, product placements. He never acted like he knew everything. He believed that stealing ideas ethically and doing them better was not weakness. It was wisdom. Here's what made him different from every other businessman. Even after opening stores, Sam would drive 100 to 200 miles on weekends to visit competitor stores, walk inside like a regular shopper, observe the aisles, the prices, the customer service, take handwritten notes, sometimes 10 pages a day, then come back and apply those ideas immediately. He didn't sit in an office. He lived on the ground, inside his stores, among real people. He called it retail education, not in a university, but in real life. By the late 1950s, Sam had several small stores, and they were doing well. But something bothered him. He realized that most rural towns in America were ignored by big retailers. Large chains only went to big cities. Small towns had high prices, poor selection, and limited service. Sam saw the gap and the opportunity. He thought, what if we build a large store in a small town with low prices, high variety, and great service? Wouldn't people drive from miles away? It was a risky idea. Investors laughed. Big businessmen said, "That'll never work. Rural people don't buy much." But Sam didn't listen. He had seen enough. He knew that rural America was hungry for value, and no one was serving them right. He gathered courage. He convinced his wife. He borrowed money. And in 1962, Sam Walton opened the first ever Walmart discount city in Rogers, Arkansas. The store was 15,000 square feet. Big for that time, but nothing compared to today's standards. No automatic doors, no digital screens, no big promotions. Just shelves filled with discounted products, from clothes to electronics to groceries. Everything cheaper than the competitors. People were curious. Some laughed. Some said, "This will never survive." But then, they stepped inside. They saw the prices. They saw the variety. They saw the honesty in the store. And they came back, not just once, but every week, with their families, with their neighbors, with their whole towns. Sales started rising. Word of mouth exploded. Customers were no longer just customers. They became fans. Sam didn't build Walmart alone. His wife, Helen, was involved in every major decision. His brother, Bud Walton, joined the business, and soon his kids started helping out. This was not a corporate empire built by suits and glass towers. It was a family business built on trust, effort, and simplicity. Sam believed in employee ownership. He gave his store managers part ownership. If they helped the store grow, they made more money. This made everyone think like owners, not just workers. By the end of the 1960s, Walmart had expanded to 18 stores. That's not just fast growth. It's explosive. But more important than the number of stores was the way they were run. Each store followed Sam's rules. Lower prices than anyone in town. Friendly staff who actually cared. Clean aisles and organized shelves. Managers who were trained like leaders. And a community feeling. People didn't feel like customers. They felt like family. Sam made sure every new store was within driving distance of his home, so he could personally visit, inspect, and improve them. He was not building a business. He was building a movement. While others chased fancy offices and magazine covers, Sam Walton stayed focused on three things. 1. Drive a used truck, not a luxury car. He wanted his employees to know he was one of them. 2. Focus on saving pennies, not spending dollars. He would travel in economy class, share hotel rooms, and reuse office supplies. 3. Keep learning like a beginner. He read reports, visited stores, and talked to the janitor with the same respect as a VP. He often said, "The moment you think you're too big to learn is the moment you start shrinking." Part 2. Walmart becomes unstoppable. The systems that changed everything. By the early 1970s, Walmart wasn't just a clever idea anymore. It wasn't just one man's personal dream. It had become a growing machine of value. A quiet rebellion against overpriced goods, poor service, and old-fashioned retail. And the machine was getting smarter, faster, and more dangerous for every competitor. Walmart had already expanded to 18 stores. But Sam Walton wasn't satisfied. He didn't wake up every day thinking, "How many stores can we open?" Instead, he asked, "How can we open stores faster, better, and smarter than anyone else in history?" He wasn't thinking like a shopkeeper anymore. He was thinking like an architect of a nationwide revolution. Most businessmen grow one store, then 2, then 10. Sam Walton grew one store, then started building systems. He understood something others didn't. If you want to grow fast, you can't just copy-paste stores. You must build the machine that makes stores. So while the world was focused on flashy branding and expansion, Sam focused on logistics, distribution, and information systems. Because if you want to serve millions, you must master how to get goods fast, how to keep prices low, how to know exactly what the customer wants. This mindset gave birth to a new kind of company. Not just a retailer, but a retail engine. In 1970, Walmart made a decision that shocked other businesses. Instead of relying on third-party distributors like most retailers did, Sam Walton decided to build his own supply chain. That meant Walmart trucks, Walmart warehouses, Walmart drivers, Walmart control. Why? Because outside companies didn't care about Walmart's mission. They delivered slow. They charged more. They didn't listen. So Sam said, if we want to control our prices, we must first control our products. In 1971, Walmart built its first distribution center in Bentonville, Arkansas. This center wasn't just a storage building. It was a command center, where products from all over the country were received, sorted, and shipped directly to stores with military-level efficiency. Every product came in. Every product went out. No delay, no middleman. And because it was Walmart-owned, costs were lower, speed was faster, and accuracy was near perfect. Over time, Walmart built more of these hubs. A powerful spiderweb of warehouses and roads, connecting small towns to big savings in record time. No one had ever done this at such scale for discount retail. Most people don't know this, but Walmart was one of the first retail companies in America to use satellite communication. In the late 1970s, when even big banks didn't use computers for real-time data, Walmart installed satellite dishes on the rooftops of their stores and warehouses. These satellites connected every store to Walmart's headquarters. What did this mean? It meant that every time a product was sold in a store in Texas, The head office in Arkansas knew immediately and could restock or adjust prices in real time. This was decades ahead of the competition. It turned Walmart from a chain of stores into a living, breathing network. And it gave Sam the power to control cost, supply, and pricing like no one else. "Retail is detail," he said, "and we will know every detail, every single hour." In 1972, Walmart had around 50 stores. That's when Sam Walton made another bold move. He took Walmart public. That means he sold shares of the company on the stock market. Why? Not to get rich, not to retire, but to raise money to expand faster. This move brought in millions of dollars, which Sam used to. Build more warehouses, buy more land for future stores, improve technology, hire better managers, train employees better. The company's stock price kept rising. But Sam didn't buy luxury cars or gold watches. He drove his beat-up Ford pickup. He ate breakfast at cheap diners. And he wore the same simple clothes, because Walmart's money belonged to the mission. Another innovation came in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Sam noticed that people hated driving from grocery store to pharmacy to clothing shop to hardware store. He thought, what if we put everything under one roof? Not just clothes, not just electronics, but food, pharmacy, garden tools, toys, everything. That's when Walmart launched supercenters. These were massive stores where a mother could fill her car with fuel, buy diapers for her baby, grab fresh vegetables, pick up a birthday gift, get her medicine, buy clothes for her kids, and be home before dinner. This became Walmart's signature style. Low prices plus maximum convenience. And it worked like wildfire. People stopped shopping at 5 stores. They just went to Walmart. Sam Walton knew one truth. Happy employees make happy customers. But instead of calling them employees, he called them associates. And he treated them like co-owners. He created an employee stock purchase program, which allowed even the janitor to buy shares in Walmart. He visited stores unannounced, talked to cashiers, asked about their kids, and listened. He believed that ideas didn't come from boardrooms. They came from the shelf stocker who sees what's missing, the cashier who hears customer complaints, the store manager who watches people every day. This created a bottom-up culture where everyone felt responsible for the company's success. By the mid-1980s, Walmart had grown to hundreds of stores, billions in revenue, and thousands of employees. Sam Walton was named Retailer of the Year, one of America's richest men, a business icon across the globe. But he still refused luxury. He still lived in the same modest house in Bentonville. He still wore a baseball cap and stood in checkout lines. And most of all, he still believed in serving people first. By the mid-1980s, Walmart was a force no one could ignore anymore. Sam Walton's humble dream had become a retail hurricane, sweeping across small towns, shaking up old systems, and rewriting every rule of business. But with great size comes great resistance. And with great power comes the target. Walmart had now crossed $8.4 billion in annual sales by 1984. That's $8,400 million per year. From a single 5 and 10 store in Bentonville to over 800 stores across multiple states. Yet even as the numbers soared, the pressure grew. Success creates fans, but it also creates enemies. And Walmart was now being watched, not just by customers, but by the media, unions, small business owners, city planners, academics, even politicians. They said things like, Walmart is killing small businesses. Walmart is too powerful. Walmart pays low wages. Walmart destroys Main Street. And while some of these criticisms were true, many were oversimplified. Because most people didn't understand what Sam Walton was really trying to do. He wasn't trying to destroy anything. He was trying to serve more people at better prices. But he knew something important. If you grow fast, you will be misunderstood. So instead of defending himself with fancy interviews, he kept doing what he always did best. Visiting stores, listening to associates, walking through aisles, shaking hands, and taking notes. Here's what made Walmart different from arrogant corporations. They didn't fight criticism with PR. They studied it. For example, when people said Walmart hurt small businesses, Sam's team collected real customer feedback from hundreds of towns, proving that in most areas, people saved over 20 to 30% per year by shopping at Walmart. When people said, Walmart pays low wages, the company expanded its stock-sharing program, making thousands of employees actual owners. By the end of the 1980s, more than 120,000 employees owned Walmart stock, and many became millionaires, just by working hard and believing in the company. That was Sam's quiet answer. Don't fight critics with words. Let the work speak. While critics talked, Walmart built. Let's understand how Walmart scaled so quickly, and why others failed to stop it. Sam used a cluster strategy. Instead of opening random stores across America, he expanded in concentric circles around existing locations. Why? Because this reduced fuel costs, delivery times, management expenses, and it increased efficiency, brand awareness in the region, loyalty from neighboring towns. In 1985, something extraordinary happened. Forbes magazine released its annual list of richest people in America. And sitting at number 1 was not a Hollywood star, not a Wall Street banker, not a tech founder. It was Sam Walton, the man from Bentonville who still ate breakfast at the diner. His net worth was listed at $2.8 billion in 1985. That's over $8 billion today, adjusted for inflation. By the early 1990s, his wealth had grown to over $25 billion. But what shocked the world was, he never moved into a mansion. He never wore gold watches. He never hired bodyguards. He lived in the same modest house. He walked alone into stores, and he kept asking the same questions. What's the customer saying? How can we make it cheaper? What's not working? People called him crazy, but Sam called it discipline. In 1991, Walmart made another bold move. It decided to go international, starting with Mexico. Many thought this was a bad idea. Retail is local. Cultures are different. Supply chains are complex. But Walmart studied the market, adapted its models, and partnered with local businesses. By 1992, Walmart de Mexico was launched, and it would become one of the largest retail operations in Latin America. Over the next 10 years, Walmart would expand to Canada, China, Chile, Brazil, Argentina, India, United Kingdom, and it did this not by forcing American systems everywhere, but by listening, adjusting, and respecting local needs. The goal was always the same: low prices, every day, everywhere. In 1992, Sam Walton did something he never thought he would do. He wrote a book, but not for fame, not for money. He wrote it because he wanted to explain his values before it was too late. The book was called Made in America, My Story. It wasn't filled with business theories or leadership fluff. It was real stories, failures, early decisions, and his raw, honest philosophy. Never get arrogant. Always think like the customer. Respect your people. Keep costs low, always learn. The book became a bestseller, not just because of the story, but because of the truth behind the success. In 1990, when Walmart was dominating the retail world, Sam Walton received terrible news. He was diagnosed with a type of bone cancer called multiple myeloma. But Sam didn't tell the world right away. He didn't stop working. He didn't disappear. He continued visiting stores, writing his book and training his people. He once said, "I don't know how much time I have, but I know what I'm here to do, and I'm not done yet." Even while in pain, he traveled across America to meet associates. He didn't want to be remembered as a man who gave up. He wanted to be remembered as a man who gave everything. In March 1992, just 1 month before his death, Sam Walton received America's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, from President George H.W. Bush. At the ceremony, he was weak, sitting in a wheelchair. But his words were strong. He held the award in his frail hands and said, "If we work together, we'll give the world an opportunity to live better every single day." And with those words, America stood up and clapped. Not for a rich man, not for a businessman, but for a simple store owner who never stopped serving. Part 3. After Sam Walton, a giant that refused to fall. He held that medal with trembling hands. His voice was weak, but his spirit was still strong. The man who had started from nothing was now being honored by the President of the United States. But behind the applause and the spotlight, Sam Walton was in pain. He was fighting cancer, and the fight was reaching its final stage. Just a few weeks later, on April 5, 1992, at the age of 74, Sam Walton passed away in Little Rock, Arkansas. The man who had revolutionized retail, the man who had built an empire of savings, the man who never stopped serving, was gone. The news shook the country. The day Sam Walton died, stores across America paused. Flags were lowered, employees cried, customers left notes at Walmart entrances. People who had never met him, from small towns to big cities, said the same thing. He changed how we live. He changed how we shop. He changed what we believe is possible. But what happened next was more important. Walmart didn't collapse. It didn't slow down. It didn't become confused or lost. Why? Because Sam Walton had built a system, not a personality cult. His entire life, he had trained leaders, built processes, and created a culture of simplicity, service, and savings. He didn't want Walmart to depend on him. He wanted it to outlive him. And it did. After Sam's death, leadership didn't fall into chaos. It was already planned. His son, Rob Walton, took over as chairman of the board. But Rob didn't try to become Sam. He respected the culture, honored the systems, and kept the mission intact. Executives were already trained under Sam's principles. Keep prices low, expand carefully, respect the associates, use data, not ego. Stay humble, no matter how big you get. Rob knew one truth. You don't replace Sam Walton. You protect what he built, and Walmart's leadership team focused on doing exactly that. In 1992, the year Sam Walton died, Walmart's annual revenue was already more than $43 billion. That means Walmart stores sold $43 billion worth of products in just 1 year. But that was just the beginning. Over the next 8 years, Walmart's revenue more than doubled, reaching $67 billion by 1995, $100 billion by 1999, over $150 billion by 2002. To put that in perspective, Walmart was selling more in a single year than the entire GDP total income of some small countries. It had become the largest retailer in the world. But it didn't happen by magic. Walmart's strategy stayed the same, but its tools got smarter. Walmart invested heavily in technology. Here's how it worked. Every time a customer scanned a product at checkout, that information was sent directly to Walmart's headquarters. Computers tracked inventory, sales trends, and delivery times. If a shelf was getting low on diapers in Ohio, the system would automatically restock it from the nearest warehouse. This system became so advanced that Walmart's supply chain was called the most sophisticated in the world. Even the U.S. military studied Walmart's logistics to understand how to move supplies faster. This wasn't just retail. This was intelligence. At the speed of the customer. Walmart had learned to predict demand before it happened, restock faster than competitors, and lower costs faster than inflation. And that meant only one thing. The prices kept going down, the savings kept going up, and customers loved it. After Sam's death, Walmart didn't just expand in the US, it went global. Fast and smart. Let's look at a few key expansions. 1. Mexico. Walmart de Mexico became the largest retailer in the country, with over 2,500 plus stores by the 2000s. 2. Canada. In 1994, Walmart entered Canada by buying 122 Woolco stores. In less than 2 years, it became a dominant market leader. 3rd United Kingdom. In 1999, Walmart bought Asda, one of the UK's largest supermarket chains, and became a top competitor overnight. 4. China, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, India. Walmart entered each market with a different strategy. Sometimes by building stores, sometimes by buying existing chains, sometimes by forming partnerships with local companies. The goal was not to Americanize the world, but to bring Walmart's strengths into local systems. That meant local suppliers, local workers, local preferences, but Walmart efficiency and pricing. Even after Sam's passing, Walmart stuck to one belief. The customer is boss. Here's what that meant in real life. Walmart tracked which items were most popular in each city. Store managers were allowed to adjust layouts based on local habits. Prices were adjusted every day to match or beat local competitors. If a customer complained, their voice went straight to the top. Walmart wasn't just a big company. It was a flexible company, able to act fast, change quickly, and adapt to new markets. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, new competition appeared, not from other physical stores, but from the internet. Companies like Amazon, eBay, Target.com, they offered online shopping, fast delivery, and lower prices. Walmart could have ignored it, but instead it adapted. It launched Walmart.com in 2000, then began building a full e-commerce team. It created online pickup systems where people could buy online and collect items in-store. It partnered with tech companies to build warehouse automation. Walmart knew the future would be digital, but customers still wanted the Walmart promise. Low prices. Every day, no matter how you shop. Even as the company grew to over 1 million employees worldwide, the culture didn't disappear. Executives were still required to visit stores, Talk to associates, watch the checkout process, and understand the customer experience. Walmart still ran morning meetings where employees clapped, stretched, and shared wins. This wasn't just for fun. It kept everyone energized, unified, and motivated. Sam Walton's legacy wasn't written on walls. It lived in actions, repeated every morning in every store. Not everything was perfect. Walmart failed in Germany, where its culture didn't match local shopping habits. It struggled in South Korea and had to exit the market. It faced legal challenges, employee strikes, and environmental criticism. But unlike arrogant companies, Walmart listened. It studied what went wrong. It adjusted. It changed course. Walmart wasn't pretending to be perfect. It was learning fast, acting faster, and always moving forward. Part 4. The Final Legacy. A store that became a symbol. Walmart had become the most powerful retailer the world had ever seen. By the early 2000s, it was generating more than $400 billion in annual sales, a number that was once unimaginable. But Walmart wasn't finished. It continued to grow, adapt, and expand, not just in size, but in mission. From the very beginning, Sam Walton had made one thing clear. The real reason we exist is to help people live better. Now, with Sam gone and the company bigger than most governments, the question was, would Walmart stay true to that promise? Or would it become another giant that forgot its roots? The answer was complicated. In 2018, Walmart did something no other company had ever done. It crossed $500 billion in sales in a single year. That's $500 billion, or $500 billion, in just 12 months. No retailer, no tech company, no brand had ever sold so much in such a short time. Walmart became the #1 company on the Fortune Global 500 list, the largest private employer in the world, with over 2.3 million employees, a brand operating in over 25 countries, serving hundreds of millions of people every week. But with this success came new questions, new problems, and new pressure. As Walmart grew, so did its responsibility. People started asking, why are Walmart wages so low? Why are some employees forced to rely on government aid? Why do some Walmart employees work full-time and still struggle to survive? Protests began. Documentaries were made. Activists stood outside stores holding signs. Critics said, Walmart is saving customers money, but it's costing workers their dignity. These weren't just attacks. These were real concerns, raised by real people who had given years to the company. And for a while, Walmart was slow to respond. The company was growing so fast, building stores so quickly, adapting to so many countries. It forgot to look inward. But then something changed. In the 2010s, Walmart realized, if we want to lead the world in business, we must also lead the world in human values. So it started making major changes. Wage increases. Walmart announced minimum wage increases across the U.S., raising base pay above national standards, especially in regions where the cost of living was higher. It wasn't perfect, but it was a step forward. Education benefits. Walmart partnered with colleges and launched programs to help employees earn degrees while working. They paid most of the tuition, allowed flexible hours, and encouraged workers to rise from cashier to college graduate. Sustainability commitments. Walmart began a bold journey toward becoming a more environmentally responsible company, reducing plastic packaging, investing in clean energy, setting long-term goals to cut carbon emissions. working with farmers to improve agricultural practices. Walmart had moved beyond low prices. It was now trying to offer a better future. By the mid-2000s, Walmart faced its greatest challenge yet: Amazon. The online giant was beating Walmart in home delivery, digital convenience, e-commerce dominance. Walmart's physical stores were still strong, but more people were shopping from their phones. Walmart had two choices. 1. Play safe and protect its existing empire. 2. Take a risk and transform into a new kind of company. It chose transformation. Walmart invested billions of dollars into buyingjet.com, an e-commerce company to compete with Amazon, launching Walmart Plus, a membership service like Amazon Prime, building online grocery delivery systems, upgrading all store tech to become smart stores, training thousands of workers in digital tools, AI, logistics, and robotics. Walmart was no longer just a physical retailer. It was becoming a technology-driven service company, but still keeping its heart in low prices and human service. In the 2020s, Walmart shocked the world again, this time by entering healthcare. The company began opening Walmart health clinics inside stores, offering low-cost doctor visits, dental care, and mental health counseling, partnering with health insurance companies, exploring ways to provide affordable prescriptions for millions of families. Why? Because Sam Walton had said decades earlier, "We're not in the retail business. We're in the people business." And healthcare was the next frontier in helping people live better. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world in 2020, everything stopped. Stores closed, supply chains collapsed, fear spread. But Walmart had to keep going because it sold food, medicine, household essentials. It was declared an essential service and stayed open while others shut down. The challenge was enormous. Protect workers from infection. Keep stores stocked while supply chains broke. Handle angry, scared, confused customers. Manage operations across 25 countries, each with different rules. But Walmart responded quickly. Installed plastic barriers for cashiers, distributed masks and safety kits, gave bonuses to employees, increased online services and delivery options, offered vaccination centers inside stores. It wasn't perfect, but it showed one thing. When the world panicked, Walmart kept serving. Sam Walton didn't just build stores. He didn't just create jobs. He didn't just cut prices. He built a belief system, a way of living that said, stay humble even if you become powerful. Put people first, even when profits grow. Act like an owner, even if you're just starting. Never stop learning, even when you succeed. He believed in everyday people, not celebrities, not CEOs, not billionaires, but the worker, the mother, the farmer, the truck driver, the high school student. And he proved one simple truth. You don't need to be born rich to change the world. You just need a truck, a plan, and a reason that matters. Today, Walmart is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, employs millions of people, and serves entire nations. But somewhere in Bentonville, Arkansas, the old Walton 5 and 10 store still stands. Visitors come every day. They walk through the tiny aisles. They see Sam's handwritten notes, his pickup truck, his favorite dog's picture, his old desk, and they realize it all began here. No money, no power, no fame, just a dream to make things better for others. This isn't just a company's journey. This is a human journey. It's about how far you can go if you never give up. It's about doing things the hard way, the honest way. It's about building something so real that even after you die, it keeps helping people live better. And that is the real success of Sam Walton. Not the stores, not the numbers, not the wealth, but the truth that you can come from nothing and still give everything. Subscribe now, because the next story might just change your life again. And I'll be here to tell it to you, word by word, step by step, like a friend who never left. Let's keep going.